When building here in Thailand over the years, you come across the same problems depending on who you're working with and which Thai builders you choose. It is also different if you hire a company and a contractor to come in and do a big job as opposed to working with local workers. You hear a lot of the same problems complained about online from different foreigners as well, some of which we'll cover today. In our situation, we've been quite lucky because we have Kun Lung here, which is Damo's uncle. He is the one behind most of the projects that we've done here on the land, so we've been quite lucky with him, and we've developed over the years a way of working together that works quite well. Today I'm going to be giving you an update on our build, what we're actually planning to do, and some of the problems that you face dealing with some Thai builders out here in rural Thailand. If you've been following along in the past few vlogs, as you know, we've been doing the gate here and enhancing the perimeter security. We're going to be doing some fences around the perimeter. Since we now have Kun Lung, we have an opportunity to build before somebody else steals him away, and we've decided to build an extension onto the back of the house, which will be my eldest son's bedroom. We're going to have a bathroom in there and jacuzzi area. And now we're talking about adding in a cinema room. Long-term followers of the channel know I've been talking about the potential of doing a cinema room here, not just for us, but for the other kids as well that live close by. Everybody can come in and watch a movie in there. I don't think it's very difficult to do. It is a small 3x4 meter room on the extension, which we're now going to add in. Some of the designs we're looking at are these kind of mini cinema rooms here. So this is something we're factoring into the project now, while we have this opportunity. Of course, what often happens when you're building here in Thailand is you add a little bit here, a little bit there. Budgets usually get a little bit out of control. We build as we go, so we do make drawings of what we want it to look like, and we discuss this with Lung. But as we're building, we may make additions or subtractions or change things completely, or even sometimes eradicate some features completely. And so it really is build as you go here. And because it's relatively cheap compared to, I guess, some areas of Thailand, like in the tourist areas, and of course many areas abroad, it is easier to kind of use your imagination a little bit, and it's not actually that expensive to just add something extra on if you're going to be building anyway and you already have the guys here hard at it. Just to explain, the gate here, actually we're delivering packages every day and we have to leave the packages out for the drivers to pick up, and so the reason this has a roof to shelter it from the rain is so all of the packages can be basically stacked up there and they can be collected without getting piss wet through, for lack of a better term. And so this area is quite important for that. It also obviously is a gate to come in and out of, and gives us a little bit more privacy as well from the delivery people kind of coming in and out all day. This is something we deal with not only for picking up packages but having packages delivered as well. We wanted, like, I guess it's like a mini mail room, although it is quite epic, the gate. Damo's got a bit carried away with it. It is really for a functionality as well. And then why expand the extensions? Really, it's about quality of life, guys. Like, we spend 95% of our life here, so really it is just about enhancing quality of life and having everything that you enjoy as a family all in one place. Now, also, as the costs add up, I can tell you that the gate is over budget. To have this gate built and the gate at the front redone, I guess it's not been built again, it's just been refurbished, as you can see here, but the cost has been around 50,000 baht so far. This includes materials and worker fee. I would say that's pretty reasonable. I think many people around the world would find that quite reasonable for two gates. And we project that the new build should cost around 500,000 baht. But these things always do go over. That's not including any accessories, furniture, anything like that whether we need to put into the building. I think people often forget when you do these buildings, they will think about, okay, how much are the bricks going to cost, the concrete, the worker fee, but they often forget the additional costs of electrics, lighting, paint. There's all kinds of additional costs that end up coming in, which you never factored in, that end up pushing the budget up quite a lot. And so I always have that in mind as well. If I think a project's going to cost like 500, maybe you've got to add another couple 100,000 just for all of these different accessories that you're going to need. Tiling is another one that ends up costing more than you originally budget. So it's always important to have a buffer, even if you're building quite cheaply here in rural Thailand. Funny thing is, on the channel, the other day I did mention that Kunlung charges for the kitchen roof to be redone, a worker fee of 7,000 baht. And I was kind of pounced on in the comments, and it said, oh, this guy's getting ripped off. The builders are ripping him off. Like, this is her uncle, so he's not really like a contractor or anything like that. It's a family. He only works for family, actually, these days, and he does family rates. It's a family job. But people say, he's ripping you off. I actually made a mistake. He actually only charges like 2,000 baht to replace the roof, which makes sense because a daily rate for a lot of people around here is around 300 baht. That would put him on a daily rate of 1,000 baht and 1,000 baht for his helper. I admit that this is not a lot. And then a lot of people kind of said, you're taking advantage. So you can't really win either way. If you're overpaying, you're getting screwed. If you're underpaying, or what I class as somewhat underpaying, you are taking advantage. And so the way I mitigate this is I pay him his rate on what is the local going rate, albeit it's a family rate. And at the end of a job, I give him a nice juicy tip. So, and sometimes that tip can equate to quite a large percentage of the total job anyway. And this keeps him happy, it keeps me happy. Now, the other reason I like using Kunlung is sometimes you'll take a couple of days off and everything will come to a standstill. And so to do projects like this, it's not like it's all going to get done in 3 or 4 weeks. And, I've got a big team coming in here and then you're getting whacked with a big bill. With Lung, I can pay him as we go and I pay for the materials as we go. And so you hardly even notice the costs as they come. You're not getting whacked with one big bill. This kind of pay-as-you-go system is easy on the monthly budget. And I like to work this way as well because I'm in no rush. It's not a life or death situation to have a gate or the driveway put in or these additional rooms that we're building. Even if it takes 4 or 5 months, I'm absolutely fine with that. We can just keep building at a normal pace. I don't need to push him. And also Lung likes that. He gets offered many jobs, by the way. He has a lot of offers and he doesn't take them because there's a number of reasons why. I won't go into all of them, but some of them are to do with people not paying on time. Some of them are to do with people wanting it to be finished really fast and he has to take care of his cows and do his own business. And so he just doesn't want the headache of it. I think the reason he likes working with us is there is very little pressure. If he's going to come in and bring his friend in to help him, no pressure, do it at your own schedule. And then if you want to, Hugo's here. Everybody's sick at the moment, so everyone's got a cold. Lung, he likes to work for us because he can just take time off and work on his own schedule, right?
Yes, yeah. He don't want to take like serious job like the big building like that because sometimes they expect the project to finish on time like that. But he say that he wants to do for sibling, family because they understand that he have other business is a cow to take care too, so he can take time off sometime. Yeah. So
our build could take 3-4 months, couldn't it?
Which one?
This one.
Yes.
And we don't mind, do we?
Yeah, we just do bit by bit. Yeah. Like that.
Now, the other topic that I wanted to broach on this vlog as well is something that often comes up in the online groups, in the expat groups, and a lot of foreigners that complain about the Thai craftsmanship. So saying there's no attention to detail, sometimes they'll show images on that. I'm not going to point out anybody in particular here, but they'll show images of, they messed this up, they didn't focus enough on this. There's just no attention to detail or love and care and craftsmanship in the finished job. I think there are a few things going on here. Number one, a lot of foreigners, they want to pay a 300 baht daily rate and get somebody that's going to pay attention to detail. But a lot of the people you're paying a 300 baht daily rate to, they've not got a lot of expertise in building. In fact, they just want to get the job done. Maybe they've been working for 8-9 hours on a job getting 300 baht. I mean, I spend 1,000 baht a day just on coffee and going out. I mean, on nothing really. So 300 baht doesn't go a long way even for locals these days. And so you can't expect a true high quality craftsmanship in the first place just on a 300 baht daily rate. There are some other factors to take into account as well though, is some Thais will install something or they'll build something for you, and in their mind it's just fine. Like, why do you need it all nicely organized? For example, in the case of my water filtration, the pipes were just everywhere, nailed to the wall in all kinds of ad hoc random ways, which made the thing look completely messy. And in their mind they're like, well, it's got a functionality, why do you care about the final look? But some foreigners do care about the final look, and that's why it's important to work with people that you really trust. That's what we do with Kun Lung. And the good thing about Kun Lung is you can tell him specifically, look, we need you to do this or this or this, things that he never would have thought about before. If you are going to work with Thai builders that are not a professional operation, that you're bringing in contractors, that you expect a high level of professionality and you're paying them as such, if you're going to work with individual people and daily workers, then you're going to have to guide them very specifically and be on site and tell them exactly what you want, and not in a authoritative way like pointing your finger and like do this, do that, just in a way, you know, sometimes we'll politely laugh and just be like, yeah, can you do it this way and can you do it that way, and we keep it jovial. And Kun Lung, I've seen him redo jobs for Damo, and I've said to Damo sometimes, Damo is very picky on the way she wants things. You know, just even the way the walls are rendered in some way and then she wants to change it later. I'm like, Damo, please don't change it, because the guy we know Kun Lung, he's not going to charge us for the redo, and it's his time that he's using. So I'm just like, don't sweat the small stuff. You know, otherwise, you know, everything is done quite well. And so I know if something is a big problem, he will go back and address it for me. And he's like that. And you have to kind of find people to work with here that you're prepared to be on site and tell them exactly what you want, because they often don't know what you want and how you want it. Also, here in these parts, there doesn't seem to be much of a clean-up culture. So when we've done builds in the past, we've been kind of left with a building site where there is just like Red Bulls and just garbage scattered all over that we have then had to clean up afterwards. Some subscribers have reported that working with companies, they've found more success in getting things cleaned up at the end. But if you are going to build in rural Thailand, I would prepare yourself for having to clean up after the builders. In our case anyway, we kind of got used to the mess being left afterwards. But I would also take into account that if you offered a daily rate for the cleanup, you probably would get that done as well. If you are going to go with a contractor, I would probably negotiate this cleanup in your original price to make sure you're not left with a building site after the build. Now, the other thing is, we get the job done before we pay Long, and he won't accept payment before the job is done. He likes to do this final thing where he goes around and he calculates it all, and then he likes to walk you around it and ask you, is this okay, like that. So it's no good paying the people that have done the job and then going complaining online that it wasn't done properly. You're better to withhold payment, check the job first, make sure it is how you want it, and then pay afterwards. And that's what we did with the water filtration. I called the company, I was like, we're not happy with the way it's been installed, and I'm not going to make final payment until it's addressed. And they sent another person, and that person came back and did it properly, you know. There was no problem, there was no animosity, and there was no need to get angry about the situation. It just simply was the job wasn't done properly, and now we need it done properly. So I think these are all things to take into consideration when building with local Thais, you know. I am not as hands-on in this project in particular, this gate, because it's not my brainchild, it is my wife's, and so she is directing everything from here. And in general, I like to communicate through my wife. I don't want to be the foreigner that is bossing around these Thai workers. I want the job done, and I'm happy to pay for the job, and I'm happy to tip for the job, and keep them in coffee and M150s and a couple of beers at the end of the day. I'd rather just tell my wife what I need. And I'm lucky to be in a situation where my wife is a very good communicator, and she understands what I like and what I need. Often I don't even have to tell her, to be honest, and she can communicate that well to Kun Lung and his little mini team here. So this is the update on the build, and I hope it's been a little bit of an insight into my thoughts about building here. I've done quite a bit of building here, and more so I've interviewed a lot of people that have built quite substantial projects here as well, so I kind of have a I know what it's like from the inside and the problems that foreigners face, but when it comes to local builders, it's on you. And you've not hired an architect and a project manager and all this stuff. You have to be the project manager, is what I've found. And that is just the way it is out here. That's what I found anyway. So thanks for checking in today, and I hope you're all well.